Hi everybody, I hope you are all doing well. It's actually quite a beautiful spring morning here in the south of England. We've had weeks of just like rain and miserable weather because obviously it's this time of year, but spring has officially arrived and the sun's decided to come out. It is a bit cloudy, but the sun is out and it's lovely. And I can't believe Easter is next week. That is crazy. So yeah, it's been a couple of weeks since you saw me. I was going to be only 1 week, but stuff got in the way, and I got distracted by rewatching a load of crime dramas because they just, they have control over me. So I took a bit of time away from reading. But I am here to talk about the book. Sorry, my hair is really irritating me this morning. There we go. The book I have been reading, which is Maureen Lipman's When's It Coming Out? I like the fact at the bottom the tag is the thoughts of Chairperson Mo. So, bit of backstory about this book. I have listened to the audio book of this so many times. It is ridiculous. And it's, but only in the space of about maybe 5 years tops. Because in my school, at the school that I went to, secondary school that I went to from age of about 12 to 18, because I stayed there for my A-levels, they had the audiobook cassette of this book. They didn't have the physical book, they had the audiobook. And one day I just decided, I think I was about 13 when I first listened to it. I just decided to randomly take it out. Nobody borrowed it, obviously. Kids weren't interested in it, but it was just sat there in the audio cassette section. And I just thought one day I'd give it a go. And I fell in love with Maureen Lipman because of it. And I listened to this audiobook over and over. I constantly borrowed this audiobook out the library because obviously nobody listened to it. And obviously when I was 18, when I left the school, I couldn't listen to the audiobook anymore. And the book just kind of went to the back of my mind of things that I read when I was, teen, and adulthood comes in, your life moves on, etc. And then I think about a year ago, or maybe a bit longer, I decided, Maureen Lipman just came into my mind, and she was all I could think about for some bizarre reason. It was just like this instantaneous thing. She just popped into my head. It was really bizarre. And so I looked up when's it coming out on Amazon Marketplace, and I found a physical copy of the book because it's a book that is not available on any websites that I could find, bookseller websites. Even her official website lists loads of her books, not this one. I looked on Audible for the audiobook, not available. I scoured the internet trying to find the audiobook, and luckily I found it. It happened to pop up, I think a couple of weeks later or something, on Amazon Marketplace. So I got the cassette of the audiobook, which I still haven't converted to MP3 to put on my phone, which I need to do. But I think the reason why I held off was that I wanted to read the physical book first, because obviously the audiobook might have been abridged that I was not aware of. And also I just wanted to read the words, not listen to the words. I wanted to explore what she was saying as a 37-year-old woman, not the 13 to 18-year-old version of me. I wanted to just fall into her world. So I think that's most likely why in my brain it was like, no, don't convert the cassettes yet to MP3s. Just hold off. And I have held off, and I still haven't done it yet. So When's It Coming Out is a book where Maureen Lipman talks about a multitude of things in her life, about being a mother, being an actress, various different fun things that she goes off to do, celebrating her birthday with at a bowling bowling alley party. That was a really fun seeing the Chippendales and the impact that has on her. All of these weird and wonderful faceted things that happened to her in this time period she wrote about. This was published in 1992, and this particular paperback edition is from 1993. And it's, apart from obviously aged, because obviously it's an old book, it's in really good condition. I was really, really happy with this. And so I sat down yesterday and I began to read it, and I read it in one day. I found myself absolutely like peeing myself with laughter. I forgot so much about this book. And so I'm really, really glad that I went, no, read the book and then do the audio stuff afterwards. Just do that afterwards. Because yeah, it just felt like all of these memories of my teenage years surfaced of me listening to this audio book. And yeah, it was a very weird experience, but I absolutely loved it. Now, Maureen Lipman, if you're not aware, a British actress. She's also done writing, as mentioned. She's written many books, very highly respected columnist. She wrote and still continues to write, just to clarify, columns and all this stuff. She's done so much stuff, it would take ages just to run it off a list. So she's a woman who's kind of like done everything and everything. I love her, and she has such a wonderful sense of humor, and her writing is just stunning. Sitting reading this book, as I said, it was kind of like a trip down memory lane for me, but also as a woman in her late 30s now, I have to say, because in a few months' time I'll turn 38. It felt like a breath of fresh air for a multitude of reasons. First of all, yes, she was older than I am now when she wrote this book. So she's talking about things that I haven't encountered yet. But I love the fact that this was a woman who was writing all of these bold, beautiful things, so many funny things, and so many things I could relate to as well. It's been a long time since I found a non-fiction book that has been like that for me. A non-fiction book that has been powerful has been one that's like been reflecting on a past figure or something, but just to have someone go, this is life, let's talk about it, all the ups, the downs, the quirky things. It's okay to be embarrassed, it's okay for things to go wrong, let's just go with the flow and see what happens. Having that was just so wonderful. It kind of like, it's like this spring that is now started. It was just this breath of fresh air to read. Also, I was reading this and I could see that there could be some sections of this where people nowadays might be offended by. I wasn't offended by whatsoever, but could be. And it's just that thing of, especially in today's society, finding something that's printed that says some things that people might have issues with was just brilliant to read, to have it available. And when I say offended, I don't mean like there is politically incorrect terms or anything as like that. What I mean is that for example, there's a part where she refers to a gay and lesbian group because of a trip to New York, and the clash with St. Patrick. Her trip to New York clashes with St. Patrick's Day, a LGBTQ plus parade, and a few other things that are going on. So because she refers specifically to gay and lesbian, now people will go, well, you're not accommodating everyone. That's what I mean. So there's nothing political correctness wise that it's like, oh, that would be deemed as being racist or whatever now. No, it's just there's some things that would not past now. And there's one chapter, there's one bit in particular, one story with her daughter getting on a train and being sat opposite a man who's wearing Flash's trousers. That's just, it is so funny, but I just knew when I was reading it that would not get by now. So it just having that thing of, this was published at a time where there was a lot more freedom to be able to say what you wanted to say. It was just breath of fresh air. I absolutely loved it. Now, to give you an idea of Maureen's writing, I want to read a couple of pages from this right near the beginning of the book. And it's to do with a trip to a Chinese restaurant. So Maureen's got to go do a job. She's going to be away from home for a while. She's got 2 children. So they are Amy and Adam, who are in their mid to late teens, and there's a husband, Jack. So she's going to go away for a while. The Chinese restaurant is about a 5-minute walk from the house, and they are walking, and all of a sudden a kind of argument breaks out between Maureen and her daughter. So here we go. "What's brought this on?" said Jack, knowing from past experience that worst was to follow. His son, equally adept at avoiding confrontation, glanced shiftily from side to side, fearsome of being overheard by the seaweed-imbling customers in the window. Now, here's my side of it. I think I had made some casual/barbed remark, as in, "You will help Daddy whilst I'm away, won't you, darling? I mean, table laying, the odd bit of help with the cooking." Her nostrils and temper flare simultaneously, and the general pattern of her response centred around the massive amount of domestic chores she did compared to her totally indolent brother, every other girl in her school, and every other person of her age in the entire civilised world, and most of the Maldives. This, coupled with sleep-depriving amounts of A-level work, which keep her hunched over her books till 2 a.m, was preposterous enough. And now, apparently, I was demanding kitchen drudgery. Now, I could have laughed. I could have hugged her. I could have apologised and touched my forelock, or highly remarked that I'd only wondered if it would be a possibility for her to peel her own avocado instead of me employing someone to come and do it for her. Instead, I choose characteristically the path of most resistance. Had my mother, the world's foremost authority on the riot control procedures, only been with us, she would have poured massive troubled waters and wailed, "Oh, don't let's spoil everything. Come on, she didn't mean anything by it, did you, lovey? We're all going to have such a nice time. Oh, come on, everyone's looking. I've not been well, my heart's banging like a drum." By which time the family would have seated in the restaurant, banally shredding duck. Whereupon Mother would have remarked, "All your man meant, Amy, is that your dad is ever so tired and you don't really do much to help, do you?" And then the whole thing would have started up again. Fortunately, we never got that far. Instead, we all went home in silence, and I had to spend the rest of the evening cooking. It's not my evening for peeking. Or peeking, as it happened. Neither my husband nor I can handle rows. We both grew up in exceptionally volatile households, and our ideas of good rows tend to be, "Oh, right then, if that's what you think, thanks very much. No, I didn't mean that. Well, neither did I. So there." Long pause. Then, "Are you having a cup of tea?" "Yeah, do you want one or what?" I mean, that is a really crucial explosion in our house. In fact, I've been known to engineer an argument just to clear the air. The trouble is that after that, I feel 100% better, while Jack has to go and sleep for a couple of months to recover. Someone once said, if there are no arguments in a marriage, then one partner is the underdog. Oh God, I can almost hear him barking outside on the lawn. She has such a bold life to her personality that it just, she absolutely shimmers. I love her. She has such warmth and such love. when she talks about anything, whether it's her work, her family, even when she has the situation of having to deal with a guy who is trying to sell her a Hoover on a Saturday evening, who's coming to her house to try and sell her a Hoover. It is absolutely joyous, this book, and this had me smiling. I was laughing. I was, like I said, I was like crying with laughter when I was reading this book, and it just brought back so many memories from my teenage years. Now, I feel really bad to say I haven't actually read any other of Maureen's books. It sounds bizarre that she made kind of like this big wham impact on my teen years, but then I walked away from her in a sense. It sounds weird, but then when you're a teenager, you find something, you focus on it, and then you move on. And she was there for a very important period of my life. She got me through like my GCSEs and my A levels, as you know, her daughter she was referring to there. And then it was like, right, now I'm going on to adulthood, and I handed over the audiobook back to my school library, and I went on and became the adult that I am. And I really, now that I'm at this phase of my life, I feel like now that I've, rereading this book, I feel like I understand her words in a totally different way than I did when I was a teenager. I thought all of these stories were funny and quirky and just really, really fun to follow, but there were things that I didn't appreciate, things that I didn't understand. And now I'm like, oh my God, how did I not get that? Even references to people who she talks about. Some people she refers to as their full name. Sometimes she just refers to them as their first name. And now that I understand who she worked with at this period of time, as well as, throughout her career, I'm like, oh my God, it did not register who the heck she was talking about then when I was a teenager, but it does now. And holy shit, I cannot believe she wrote that story about that individual. There are so many quirky things in this book. I love the fact that there's a part where she's talking with a neighbor. She's got a neighbor over to, have a glass of wine, have a few snacks, that kind of thing. And she's referred to that she has to go to France, the south of France in August for a holiday thing. And he's absolutely appalled. And he goes, he says something like, August in France, don't you realise that's when they're all on holiday? Basically, August in France is Blackpool with baguettes. It was just all of these little things. It was just a wonderful gem of a book to read, and I'm so annoyed that it's just not available in print anymore. It doesn't make sense to me that it's not available in print anymore. And as I said, you can't get the audiobook. It's not available on Audible. I cannot find anywhere a digital version of the audiobook. I found the cassette popping up on Amazon Marketplace, like I said, a few weeks after I bought the physical copy of the book. I think there might be some eBay copies, should you wish to explore eBay. But yeah, it's just not there. And I just like, oh my God, it's so freaking good of a book. That's the frustrating thing. And all of the stories are just wonderful. Like I said, we've got things like her daughter's A levels, the prospect of her daughter's university, getting a Hoover, going to France, going skiing, going sofa shopping, getting her daughter on a train. What else have we got? The trip to New York, as mentioned. We've also got the Chippendale situation, the bowling alley, and we've also got her, you know, her incredible career working on TV, on stage and such, writing. And all of this is in, I think, 306 pages. It's insane how much stuff is in this book. I absolutely loved it. And it truly is a breath of fresh air in the society that we have today, to have an older woman talking about her life experiences, her balance of being a mother and a wife, and having a career, and all of the weird and wonderful things that happen in life that you do not expect to happen. Like I mentioned, you know, her daughter casually mentioning that she sat opposite a man wearing Flash's trousers on a train. Just it's just, oh my God, I loved it. Absolutely loved it. Oh, it really will have you crying with laughter, this book. So if you were able to track down a copy of When's It Coming Out by Maureen Lipman, do read it. Really, really do. As I said, I mean, there might be some things that some people might find a bit offensive in today's society, but nothing like racist political correctness, you know, that kind of thing. It's just sensitivities about things that our society have now that back in the 90s weren't necessarily recognised. There we go. So as mentioned, I do have the audiobook, but I've got the cassette and I've gone and left it upstairs in the study before I hit record on this video, so I don't have it to hold up. It's the same cover, it's just a little smaller version with cassettes. So yeah, so I'm going to convert that into MP3s to be able to listen to it, and then I can bask in the glory of Maureen Lipman. She narrates the audiobook herself, which is so wonderful to have her saying these words, and just I absolutely love it. So would I read this again? Yes, 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 yes. This is going to be a never leave my bookcase go-to when I need a pick-me-up. Just absolutely wonderful, fresh, invigorating, joyous, funny book. When's it coming out? Would I recommend this to anyone? Yes, 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 yes. Everyone read this book. It's brilliant. Would I read any more of Maureen Lipman's work? Yes, I categorically need to. As mentioned, I walked away from her when I hit my teen, because I left that school. I left that audiobook behind, and life, being an adult, learning things happened, and I never went back to Maureen's work, and now I feel like I need to. So I'm going to be looking around, seeing what other Maureen Lipman works I can come across. As I said, this is not on her official website, so I don't know if it's a case of that there are other books of hers that are now no longer in print, but I will see what I can find, and yeah, do some more exploring through Maureen Lipman's work. So there we go. There's my thoughts on When's It Coming Out by Maureen Lipman. Have you read this book? I'd like to know what you think. Leave me a comment in the comments box below. Give me a thumbs up, thumbs down, and tell me if you like inside. And I'll be back with my thoughts on my next read, which is Catherine Cookson's The Tide of Life. So yeah, stay tuned for that. Yeah, hopefully I will be back in less than 2 weeks this time. All right then, everyone. Bye.